Hi Aquarius, welcome to your April 2017 Tarot Oracle with a little bit of astrology reading. My name's Mimi. I'm with Divination by Mimi. We're going to be going over some astrology because there's a lot of activity occurring in the month of April in the skies. When we do the tarot spread, we're going to be doing an elemental spread based on the 4 directions and the 5 elements. This is the Morgan Greer deck. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. And then for clarification, we've got the cartouche based on ancient Kemetic mythos. And we've also got runes if we need further clarification. So I'll start with your ruling planet. In terms of the activity occurring in your sign, there's not a lot. Your actual constellations is, other than the moon making its cycle through during the month, it does not have a whole lot going on. However, your ruling planet has some up days and some down days. So I'll go over what your ruling planet's going to be making you feel like as it creates different aspects with other bodies in the sky. And then we'll go over the 4 big retrogrades that are going to impact all of us, particularly you on one day. So for days that are going to be good, where you're feeling in a good vibration, you're feeling happy, you're feeling positive, that would be on the 18th, okay? And that would be on the 25th, okay? So the 18th and the 25th. On the 18th, no, I'm sorry, not the 18th, the 16th. So on April 16th, the moon forms a trine with Uranus. Uranus is your ruling planet, one of the 2. And we'll go over what Saturn's doing as well when I talk about the retrograde. So Uranus is forming a trine with the moon. A trine is a very good positive aspect, 120 degrees. And this generally means that you'll be feeling good. You'll be in good spirits for the day, as the moon tends to rule our emotions. Now you have another day where the moon is conjunct with your ruling planet. That's the 25th of April. And when it's conjunct, it amplifies whatever feelings you have. So it could be a good aspect, it could be a bad aspect. It really depends upon your frame of mind at that point. It will be conjunct around 2 in the afternoon based on Eastern Standard Time on the 25th, which is a Tuesday. So on that day, you might feel very emotional regardless, something that's not really typical for you as you are kind of a cool, collected, logical sign. Now, some rough days for you will be when the moon creates a square aspect with Uranus. And those days will include the 4th, which is a Tuesday, so April the 4th. That'll be early in the morning. Okay, and it will move out of that aspect shortly after. On the 6th will be kind of a rough day because it will be forming a square. That's a 90-degree angle as you look at the natal chart, and that can tend to be impactful in a agitated way. It's not a positive, not a smooth feeling energy. It can be like a bumpy, rough energy. This will also occur on the 28th. And okay, so that's as it relates to the moon. But on the 28th, you will be feeling the Mercury retrograde as it's conjunct with Uranus. So Mercury will be within 10 degrees of your ruling planet Uranus on the 28th Friday of April. And this may make you feel all sorts of crazy. It may make you have a tendency to react or speak before you think, which is an unusual thing for you. You tend to be very, very thoughtful. So just watch the energies on the 28th. That conjunction occurs at around 10:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 28th Friday. So be aware of that. Okay, so that's what's affecting you directly. Also, another one of your co-rulers is Saturn. Saturn is in the sign of Sagittarius at the moment, and Saturn will be making a very rarely done retrograde. This is going to be occurring on the 6th of April, and Saturn will remain in retrograde until the 25th of August. That's a long time. Also, this conjunction that it's making with the galactic center will be, whenever a planet goes retrograde, it's basically going backwards. Things are kind of in reverse. They're not in their normal perpetual motion. Things are just going the wrong way, or just looking backwards, okay? So with Saturn going backwards and being so close to the galactic center, it will be very much about looking at old constructs that we have considered collectively and individually as secure. So we're talking about the cornerstones of civilization, things like government, things like financial institutions, things like spiritual or religious institutions, things that have been held fast and long as being, you know, the pillar on which to lean against. Okay, these things will come into question, and as it is on the outside, it is on the inside. As it is above, it is below. So on the macrocosm, we'll collectively be questioning the status quo, questioning reconsidering some of the concepts that we were taught. On the internal level, you'll be feeling this in the way you'll be going back to the way those things were presented to you at a very young age. So you'll be revisiting things like the concepts that whatever your nuclear family was, in whatever form that manifested itself, the things that were shown to you. So if you were taught that sex is bad at an early age because perhaps of a religious overtone in the family in which you were brought up, these are things that this is just an example, but these are things that you'll be revisiting, reconsidering, okay? Other planets in retrograde besides Saturn, your co-ruler, are Venus. Venus is in retrograde beginning of the month and will continue to be in retrograde until the 15th of April. Right around the 4th, she is going to retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. So right now she's in Aries, and she will be till the 4th. She will be in Pisces for nearly the duration. She will not be heading back to Aries until, I don't think, May, actually. No, 29th, excuse me. She'll be back in Aries on the 29th. But right around the 4th, until the 29th, she will be, until the 15th, actually, she will be in retrograde, and she will be making a very close conjunction in Neptune, in Pisces, the constellation of Pisces, with a astral body called Chiron. Chiron's archetype is the wounded healer. So when Venus is going retrograde, she's revisiting things that have to do with relationships, value, beauty, love, things of that nature. When it's connected with Chiron in a close proximity, you know, within 10 degrees, a conjunction is like empowering each of the planets together. So it sort of really emphasizes the feelings. This will be really calling you to remember old hurts. You might be revisiting times where, I don't know, maybe you got beat up on the schoolyard, or when, I don't know, a friend said, you know, you're ugly, or something like that. Old hurts that maybe you've held for a long time. This is a really good opportunity to revisit those and see how they've been affecting you as they've been sort of playing on the subliminal level in your head for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And then reconnect with those, and using your cool logic, taking a look at them and saying, hey, you know, does that really rational? Does that really make sense? You know, does that really need to affect me any longer? And this is an opportunity to make those corrections. So it will be forming a square with Saturn while in retrograde. This is being Venus in retrograde, by the way, during the month. So this square will cause some pain. It will have a lot to do with the emotions. In other words, this revisiting of old ideas that are taught to us as a culture by our cornerstones or pillars of the community. They'll be up for reconsideration as well. And the way these things made you feel, or the way these ideas motivated people to hurt you. You can see how it's all connected. So we're really taking a look back honestly. Another conjunction, or not conjunction, but square that's going to be happening is with yet another retrograde planet. So there are 4 planets in retrograde. There are more planets in retrograde, but the big ones that are making aspects that are going to affect us emotionally are Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Mercury. So I'm going to move on to Jupiter now. Now Jupiter is going retrograde as well, and that will happen on, I will tell you, on the 2nd. Jupiter's station is currently in Libra, has been for a while. Jupiter's a big planet. Jupiter's about expansive energy. When it goes retrograde in the sign of Libra, which is the 7th house, that's all about relationships, how we relate to the other. It's making a square with that same Saturn retrograde at the galactic center. And again, remember, a square is an agitated energy. It's a difficult energy. When that happens, this means you're going to be brought, so everything's going back in time, okay? This particular aspect with Jupiter and with Saturn at the galactic center, everything going retrograde, is going to have an impact on things you might have held as true and maybe even spoken truths that were true to you maybe 10 years ago, okay? So 10 years ago, you might have had a political ideology that really held true to you at that time, but we all grow and we change. So things you've said, things you've done in relationships, in activities, being an Aquarius, it's very possible you've been political throughout your life or involved in social change. Things that you might have said, things that you might have espoused as being very true to you might resurface. Again, everything's about going back and revisiting. And with Jupiter and Saturn in that kind of square, while they're in retrograde, they're going to require that you kind of come correct with your response. So be prepared to be brave and be honest and have humility in the way that it may require an apology. You know, you might find yourself saying, wow, you know, that was a really antiquated belief that I had about 10 years ago. And I've said some things. I'm really sorry that I said. I apologize. That's the kind of thing we'll be revisiting over the month of April. Very, very busy, active, emotional time this month. So try to ride those waves as logically as you can, Aquarius, because you are very good at being rational and logical, and in the head, very, very thoughtful. The last retrograde I want to mention is Mercury. Mercury goes retrograde on the 9th and will remain in retrograde till the 3rd of May. Mercury's the god, or Hermes is the hermaphroditic god that is about the messages between the gods. So it has a lot to do with messaging, communication, speaking, letters, emails, things of that nature. So while it's in retrograde, it's a great time. Again, it's retrograde, so it's going backwards. It's not on its normal course, so things aren't working like they normally do, right? So great time to go back and finish up things you've started and haven't finished yet. Tie up loose ends on projects. Not a great time to start new projects. Not a great time to contractually obligate yourself to anything for the next 5 to 10 years. So during retrograde, which again is the 9th of April to the 3rd of May, if you can avoid it, do not sign your name on any contracts. Things like buying a house, selling a house, starting school, getting a divorce, getting married, adopting a child. Things that are big, impactful contracts you would sign that can impact you for a long time. And the reason is not all the facts are going to be very clear in this time frame. Things will not be clear. Also, there may be, and again, this would be an unusual thing for an Aquarius, but the instinct might be to speak before thinking for most of us, and even for you at times, particularly on that day that I mentioned where there's a conjunction with Uranus on the 28th. So be careful, particularly on that day. But double check emails before you send them. Before you leave a voicemail message, you know, listen to it a second time. Make sure it doesn't exude a tone that you don't intend it to. Okay. Just double check it, and also, you know, there's always the possibility of mechanical issues. So again, April's going to be a tough month. Try to ride the waves. Try to take advantage of be relaxed and logical and rational and chilled out. Okay, and let this sort of happen. Let the retrograde happen. Just identify things. Be willing to apologize if needed. Visit those old hurts, trying not to get too emotionally attached, but heal those wounds. All right, that was a lot of information. I'm almost at 14 minutes just explaining astrology to you, so I really apologize for that. Let's get into tarot. Again, this is the Morgan Greer Rider-Waite-Smith-based deck. We are going to be doing an elemental spread based upon the 4 directions and subsequently the 5 elements. In the center would be Akasha, the spiritual element. For clarification, we have got the cartouche. And if needed, we've got some runes too. But things have been pretty clear, and just to let you know, things have been very reflective of the astrology. Don't be surprised if your message kind of is close to what the astrology just said. All right, one more. What does Aquarius need to know on a spiritual, practical, thoughtful, creative, and relationship related. What do we need to know? What does Spirit have to say directly? What's the Akasha saying? What is the spiritual message for Aquarius? All right, for Akasha, for the spiritual message, you got the Page of Cups in reverse. That's messages usually to do with relationships or emotional things. In the north, which is Earth, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. Tends to be a Virgoan energy, or a Virgo specifically. This has to do with very Virgoan things, practical things. So this is the north. This would be finances, health, things like that. In the east, we have the air, element of air, which is about thoughts, rationale. And you got Justice. In the upright, the Libran card. This is what you're thinking about. This is what's on your mind, okay? What you're focusing on mentally. In the south, we have creative issues or creative projects, and you've got the Four of Swords in reverse. And in the west, relationships, you've got the Ace of Swords in the upright. All right. So, Spirit is kind of indicating that you've got some kind of wrong idea about relationships. Pages are messengers. Cups have to do with relationships or intuition. Could be religion, too. It could be spirituality. It could be that you have the wrong idea about some spiritual concept, or the wrong idea about some relationship or someone that you care about, or some family dynamic. But we'll get more into that, and if we need to, we can clarify. In the north, where the Earth is, the Knight of Pentacles. This is a mutable sign, and it's Earth because it's Pentacles, so it's perfect for the direction in which it's in. And it's in the upright. This tends to be, because it's a mutable card, the Virgo. So Virgos are the Knights, and they're a mutable Earth sign. This Knight is, he moves, he's moving towards something, he's building something. It is a slow process. It requires patience. This is a very practical, thoughtful, tenuous energy. Okay, so whatever it is you're building on the practical level, whether it has to do with your health, perhaps you are involved in a exercise routine or a weight loss program, or just improving your health in some way, you're going about it in a very practical way. This is a very logical, altruistic, slow moving, but it ultimately wins the race, right? Tortoise in the hare. So if we are talking about health or wealth, you're going either one. You're going about these practical matters in a very practical Virgoan way, slowly, carefully, thoughtfully. And with that, you're getting a good result. So I don't think you have any worries here. If it is health related, you're going about things the right way, and you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Now over here, we have Justice. Something's on your mind. It could be something related to a court case or something legal that's going on. It could also, because Aquarians tend to be social activists, or they have that streak in them, they're always thinking about humanity, the collective, the other. It's very much a Aquarian trait. Something's on your mind in this regard, and to me it seems like this is definitely a focus. You're focusing on some kind of a win. There's some kind of a win happening for you in something that you're focusing on, and it's a just win. So if this is a personal situation, you feel as though things are happening the way that they are supposed to. Everybody's getting their just desserts, so to speak. And this kind of feels personal, actually. It could be a court, again, it could be a court case, but it feels to me a little bit more like what's on your mind is that it appears to you that everybody that's involved in whatever this thing that you're thinking about, all the parties involved, are getting the right thing. They are being treated the right way. Everybody's being treated fairly. I hope that helps and makes sense to someone. In the South, as it has to do with creativity, it looks as though you need rest and you're not taking it. Four of Swords is usually about respite, taking time away, taking time to collect yourself, regain your strength. It looks like you've been kind of going, okay? And whatever creative endeavor that you're involved with, and again, it could have something to do with with this thing that's on your mind very heavily. This is a major arcana card, so something is just. I think that you can take a rest now. So there's something you've been actively, mentally, spiritually involved with. And this may be why the message is coming through from Spirit to take a rest. There's a misunderstood message. There seems to be, as it relates to whatever this creative endeavor is, and this happens to be what's on your mind as well at the moment with justice. Spirit is telling you that you're misinterpreting all or nothing. You're misinterpreting what it means to give of yourself. You got some message along the way that you needed to deplete yourself completely in your efforts to improve a situation, to build something up. And your mind is definitely on things being just and fair for everyone. But it is only just and fair that you do, where you're taking care of something here, whether it's financially or health-wise here, make sure that you're getting the rest that you need to. Make sure that whatever this, before you start to be depleted of energy, before it starts to affect your health or your finances, take the time to rest, because it is now. Okay, things are okay, things are just. The message is now is the time to take some time away. Now is the time to relax. Give it a rest for a little bit. I know you don't really want to, but if you don't, this will start to suffer. And you're missing a message here. As it relates to relationships over here in the West, this is water. You have the Ace of Swords. So this is the root or the beginning of something intellectually interesting. I have a feeling you might have met someone who really sparks you intellectually, which is a hard thing to do for Aquarius, to meet another person that is a sparring partner intellectually. And it would appear that you have met someone or a group of people, but it feels like it's one person. You've met someone that has, and I can't tell if it's romantic or not. I don't necessarily think so. I think this is more like a colleague or a partnership in whatever this project is here, partner, or a friend, a new friend. But it's a very exciting concept to you because your brain's actually going to be tested for once. I'm not saying that, you're better than everyone and everyone around you is dumb. I'm just saying that this is someone that actually is meeting you at your intellectual level and is building a new relationship where you can both grow intellectually. Because we know if we're in an easy spot too long, we get too comfortable. We don't grow. This will help you grow. And intellect is very important to an Aquarius. I would like to get some clarification here and here. I know you're going a long time here. I'll try to make it fast. This is the cartouche based on ancient Kemetic mythos and soap operas and energies and archetypes and concepts. That's the way. Let's get some clarification on what message are you getting wrong? What are you misinterpreting? Or what am I misinterpreting as it relates to this Page of Cups in reverse from Spirit? And what creative effort do you need to take a rest from that you're not heeding that warning on? Is it related to this justice? All right, Spirit, can I get clarification on the Page of Cups reverse for Aquarius? What does that mean? What's the communication there? What is it a miscommunication? Here we go. Yeah, there's some long-held belief that you have that this is Uraeus, which has to do with ancient wisdom, spiritual connection. There's something that you believe, and of course this month is going to be a really great time with all these retrogrades revisiting, something you believed for a long time that has to do with whether or not you're giving of yourself completely. And you have this idea, and it's an idea about what it means to be a good person, what it means to give your all. And it looks as though you're giving too much. This is a thing I think that's happened to you in previous months too as it comes to the tarot, Aquarius. And it makes sense, right now with the political environment. This is certainly a busy time for the Aquarian collective energy as we are in the dawning of the new age of Aquarius. So some long-held belief that you have about fighting a good fight, about fighting for justice, about fighting and doing good things, what it means to be a good person. And you seem to think that you never rest from this. I'll get clarification on this one too, but you've got the wrong idea. You've picked up a message incorrectly from a young age. Spirit, what I believe here, Spirit is telling you is, yes, it's right to be an altruistic person. You have a very higher moral fiber, a very good moral compass. You're altruistic. You're fighting the good fight. However, you picked up some message along the way that when you do this, you're 24 hours, 7 days a week on call, kind of like those poor folks in 12-step programs that are, oh shit, I can't think of the name of it, but they're the folks that new people in the 12-step program have to contact, if they're feeling like they're gonna, cheat or shoot up or something when they're trying to stay abstinent. Sponsor. It kind of, you feel like you have to be that 24/7 available to other people. And if you think about yourself in the least, right, because you're on the right track here, making things good for yourself, you are missing the point. The message was, give to all, be there for all, show love and compassion to all, but that includes you. And that may mean taking a break from whatever this endeavor is, whatever this fight for justice is that you've got going on. Take some time off, take some needed rest. Enjoy some time with this new friend and start tickling your brain in a new direction, not just how to fight, against oppression, or whatever this is, whatever this project is, but also, making haikus. I don't know, some intellectual endeavor that challenges you, that entertains you, that's fun, that can give your mind a rest. I'll see clarification here. What's with the not resting? What does Aquarius need to know about? Is it related to this incorrect message, this misinterpreted message? Yeah, you're taking, so this is air, which is actually the element that rules you. You got it in reverse. Okay. This is number 12, which is number 3, which has to do when 1 and 2 becomes 3. It's about Sekert, which is Binah. These are formed ideas, or the third Sephirah, or the third placement in the Kemetic Tree of Life. These are about formed ideas. Yeah, very old concepts and formed ideas that you hold as true. You believe these are rational. In your mind, as a rational, logical person, you really do believe that you have to be on 24/7 to be any kind of a good person or effective in any way. And you actually have that wrong. Believe it or not, you actually have that concept wrong. So to maintain this, because it is a sin, to use an antiquated word, it is a sin to hurt yourself too, to deplete yourself too, because you are part of the collective. You spit in the face of God when you don't take care of yourself as well, so take care of yourself. I mean, you're going to keep up the good fight. That's your nature. But, enjoy what this is. Don't let this disappear. This is a wonderful new start. It's not something that's happened and occurred in its full, flowering yet, but the potential is there for a great friendship that will help you ultimately grow, which will help you ultimately fight the good fight or continue on with this project. But you got to take some rest, take some time off. Okay, I'm really sorry. You're at almost at 30 minutes too. Apologies for the verbosity. It's a big word. This is a general reading, so if you would like something a little bit more tailored and specific to you, please email me at mimimemes@hotmail.com. That email address is in the description box below the video. Elsewise, I will see you again this month for the full moon in Libra on the 11th and the new moon in Taurus on the 26th. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again in May. Hopefully it won't take this long next time. You have a really wonderful April, and careful of those retrograde energies. Just take advantage.